Guten Abend, good evening. I hope some people found their way to this video. It will be a bit a repetition. Sorry, I hear an echo. I guess I have the video open. Okay, that's bad. My bad. That's new. So let me get back here. Okay, now the weird echoing noise is gone. That's good. Ja, hello Manfred. Schönen Abend. Yeah. What will we do today? The same as last week, essentially, but this time on Windows. So last week I did the live stream to show how to flash slot 0 and to test a release candidate, or last week it was the second test build. Now it's a release candidate because it's merged into the general development branch and yeah, has some more fixes because of that, which were not in my general testing branch, where I did the security or securing of the flash mechanics, which had some booby traps inside, but we are finding all of them, I think, and we already found another one with this release, so we are on a good way, I think. Yeah, so what do you need? Obviously you need a MEGA65. So best is you have a batch 1 or a dev kit MEGA65. You can also test this with a Nexus board, but you won't be able to test that much because the current flasher won't be able to flash on the Nexus board. Yeah, sorry. That's because yeah, we were hard pressed to support the flashing of the MEGA65 release 3A board, which is in the batch 1 and will be in the batch 2. And yeah, this required us to use the attic RAM to yeah, essentially buffer the core, so we can access it quickly while writing to the flash. So reading from the SD card and writing to the flash was kind of not working. So this will be fixed after this release here is done. Then we will get back to the flasher, make it so that it can work with or without attic RAM. So then we will be able to flash again on the Nexus boards, for example. Okay, so you have a MEGA65, yeah, and then you also need a JTAG interface. That's the bummer. So the dev kit owners will have a JTAG already installed, but they also paid a lot more for the for the dev kit. And some MEGA65 batch 1 owners did buy a JTAG or found some other way to do it. We have articles and stuff about it, how you do it. I think Paul's kit did build adapters for a different kind of JTAG, which is the Arrow JTAG. But this is also not really available currently, so it's a bit hard. But there are users out there, so why not show it? And perhaps it also helps in the future if we or when we have a way for everyone to flash their slot 0, because this could be needed in some time if we add features that need to be in slot 0. I can't think of many of them. So one of the main reasons to reflash slot 0 would be to get the current flasher out of slot 0 and get a new secured one into slot 0. Because with the current flasher in slot 0, which you will be using to flash, there are still those booby traps. So you need to listen carefully and follow all the rules. And one important rule, I will repeat it now, one important rule is 8.3 file names, all uppercase, DOS onto the SD card. Name your cores that way and you will be pretty safe. Do some long file name stuff or create mysterious macOS stuff on the SD card, and it can be tricky. Yeah, so don't choose the wrong file if you flash a core, essentially. But yeah, it's an edge case, essentially. You just need to choose the file you put onto the disk, and everything is okay. If you choose another file, it can break, but it must not break. It's really edge cases. Okay, I hope I did not confuse you too much with this. A little bit, perhaps. Okay, what can we do? How do we start? So if I know nothing, I will click on the link in the announcement that there's a release candidate to test, and this link will get you here to the wiki. And it will, yeah, tell you what to do. So we could read this now, but essentially it will tell you, okay, here you can get the packages, and these are all links to the file host. And yeah, we need such a package. So I will go here, or I think I can click on the link, right? What happens? Okay. It gets me to the MEGA65 batch 2 release build for the MEGA65 R3. Okay, I have such a thing. Good. And it says, please expand versions to see all possible downloads. This is this one here, expand. Okay. So there are two files. One is the zip with all the stuff inside. Oh, I hope I have installed 7-zip on the Windows VM. And there's the jtagflash.prg, which we will need to flash later. Okay, so we have those. Then we can go back to the wiki. Let us see where we have this stuff. It should be in downloads. And then we will grab this and put it in my MEGA65 directory. What is this? Some weird Windows stuff. I don't know. Delete. Does anyone know what this is? Is Windows complaining that I have copied it from the internet, the evil internet? Okay, we will see if something happens. Then we can... Okay, I did not install 7-zip. That's bad. Okay, how do I get out of this? No, I won't. Look for tools. So, yeah, well, 7-zip can't be that hard to install, I guess. I hope I must not reboot. Exe. This sounds about right. Okay. Sorry that I did not look for this, because I do everything first on my Linux, and so I don't have to do this on Windows. Okay, so now we no, not close, wrong button. MEGA65. Okay, now we should be able to open it. Not stupid. 7-zip. There it is. Can I drag it in here? Add to archive? Nah, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, Hilfe. Okay, guys, I will just do a simple thing. I will do it on Linux, because I'm lazy now, and this will be way easier than watching me failing to install 7-zip on Windows. So that is, I extracted it with 7-zip on Linux, and now I have all those files, and there's a readme and there's a changelog. You should read those, because the format of those files is new. We did not we had not such a format before. Before this, we only put simple core files or bit files out. And now we will add all those stuff so that you can read for what these files are meant, and also to be able to see if something bad has happened. So this will have big uppercase warning files in this top directory if something went wrong, because it will do regression tests and it will look at what Vivado did build. And so automatic build could have those files and tell you, oh, here something happened, it could be bad, decide for yourself if you will use it. Obviously a release will not have those files, because yeah, we will test it before and put only something out that works. Then we have stuff we don't need and stuff we could read, which are the log files, and then we have stuff we should use, the SD card essentials. And the main files we need is the bit, the core, and the MCS. So what we need to do is, yeah, we need to read what we need to do. So known issues, yeah, the new release essentially does not have current issues. The Geos thing is a standard thing. How to report issues. Okay, we should make issues, or we should talk to the developers on Discord, for example. Hi Igor. Sorry, I'm not used to looking at the chat all the time. First flash your Mega, then do the other tests. Okay, I will do that. So how do I flash the Mega? And if I scroll a bit deeper down, then I will see this section, how to flash core to core 0. Oh, this should read how to flash to slot 0. Okay, how to flash a core to slot 0. I should correct this later. So you must use the MEGA65 command line tool, the refactor version. Using M65 Connect will currently not work. So this is because there are certain steps that must be done in a certain order, and certain switches must be set on the command line tool. And M65 Connect is a GUI that is using the command line tool. So there will be an option to do this with M65 Connect, but it's not there yet. So we will add this, and the developer of M65 Connect is already looking at the refactor version. It's quite new, so that's why it's not in there yet. And this is why you need to do it with the command line tool. Okay, first step, copy the latest core file to the SD card using a short file name, such as r3rc1.core. You see, 8.3, so maximum 8, and all uppercase. And no weird characters, only A, B, C to Z, and numbers 0 to 9. Don't use weird characters. Okay, this is also an important rule. Just use ASCII letters and numbers, nothing else, and the dot just before the extension. And the extension must be core. So it's really not that hard. Okay, how do we get it on the SD card? Again, I won't bother to do this with Windows, because I don't know how I can pipe via my SD card reader to the Windows VM. So I will fetch my SD card here, not the small one. I fetch the big one. Okay. I let it open, and then I need to put it in my SD card reader, and now I will pull over a window from my Linux, and there we need the core file, this one, and I copy it. I'll go to the SD card. I have lots of stuff on this SD card. This is my main testing card. Put it on there. It's okay if I put it on there with a long name. I just need to rename it. RC1. what did I write? R3, RC1? Okay. And I make the core big, all big letters. R3, RC1.core. Okay. And then I eject it. Ejecting is important. Don't listen to anybody who tells you that ejecting is not important. And we put it back in. Yeah, I don't fiddle around with the trapdoor. I don't have screws in the MEGA65. It's, yeah, for me, much easier to work with. Okay, we go back here. And we have to look at the next step, I think. Turn off your MEGA65. I obviously turned it off before. I'll open the MEGA65 case. Oh, again? Okay. Open the MEGA65 case. And then set dip switch 3 to on. Switch 1 is the closest to the case. On is to the left. Okay. We can do that. So I think you can't see it very well. Yes, this is not an insulated tool I'm using, but it works best. Okay, dip switch 3 is set to on. Why do we do that? The dip switch 3 is a security measure. So it will be read by the program or by essentially by the core, and the core will not let JTAG access happen from the system if dip switch 3 is set to off. So if dip switch 3 is off, you can be sure that no software can access your JTAG, can access your JTAG, not your JTAG, your QSPI flash. Sorry, the flash. You can't write the flash if the dip switch is off. So we set it to on because we want to write to the flash. Now make sure your JTAG interface is connected to the MEGA65 mainboard and to your PC. Okay, so we can again look at this. The JTAG is this one with the green light on. And if I now switch on the MEGA65, there's this other LED. Yeah, nothing else happens, okay. But we can take a look what we can do with it, if we can access it. And for this we need M65 exe. So where do we get M65 exe? There was a link somewhere here. So let's open this. And you need to download it from here, CI Refactor Latest. And you can see here that the M65 exe has a date of yesterday and the other ones are 2 days ago. And this is important because the automatic build process currently fails to create a correct MEGA65 exe. So I have to do it by hand, and you can see it because the dates are different. But I try to do it every time, so it will be up to date. Perhaps I put one to the file host entry too, so you always have one that works. But it's just if there's a version that is not updated by me, then it will just not work because the library is wrong and Windows will complain. Okay. Oh, I did not show you this. Sorry, I did not switch the screen. Okay. Again, we need to go to CI Refactor Latest. This was this link. I did not show you because I did not switch the screen. And there we need to download MEGA65 exe. So, okay, I already did that. Here's the MEGA65 exe. So now I need to plug in the JTAG interface because it's currently connected to my Linux system and I need to wire it into the VM. And then there's a nice sound from Windows. And let's see. We can now use autodiscover debug. And it will detect the JTAG interface. So it will tell me, okay, here's a COM11 and I found a ID code 363-3636093. This is a MEGA65 R3. The number will be different, for example, for Nexus A7 board. And it also tells me it selects device COM11. So yes, it found the MEGA65. That's great. Okay. Now we need again read the manual, the wiki page, what to do. Turn on your MEGA65. Okay, we do this again. I switch on the screen and we turn on the MEGA65. And the first thing we get is this nice border, and it will tell us, oh, you have switched on dip switch 3. Are you sure? Do you really want to do that? So with this, you see, you can't just boot with dip switch 3 switched on. It will always stop at this point. So I now have to press run stop, and then it will go on, and it will drop in the monitor. We need to go out of the monitor, which is also written on this page here, step 7. No, step 8. And then we use M65 tool to push the bit file via JTAG to the MEGA65. If this fails, stop here. So this is here because we want to make sure that you can push a bit stream to the MEGA65, because this is your rescuing line. You can not destroy, you can zero out your flash as much as you want. It's no problem at all. If you have a JTAG, you can just push a bit stream and it will run. And this is the way to rescue the MEGA65 essentially. Because in the end, it only means you just have no core on the flash. So you need to give it the core in another way. And this we do now by using this M65 bit only option. Okay, let's do this. Where's my PowerShell window? Oh, this is slow. Okay, bit only. Bit only is the old -Q option, which still works. And then we need MEGA65 rel test, and we need the bit. So there are 3 files that are called this way: bit, core, and MCS. Just that you know, this is all the same, essentially. It's only a different wrapper. So the bitstream is the pure set of configuration for the FPGA. So the whole setup, how all the cells in the FPGA should mesh and what function they should do. So this essentially creates all the processors inside the FPGA. And the core file is exactly the same thing. It just has a header around it, and with this MEGA65 R3 core, it also has some files at the end attached. But in the middle, there is the same bit. It's just a container, like a zip file, for example, but it's not zipped, a container, which we put into the slot, so that we have some information around it, like for what board it's meant or what version it has. And the last one, the MCS, is the core file. It's the same as the core file, just in a different format. It's in a ASCII hex format, which is used by Vivado. So these 3 files do the same thing. They provide the configuration for the FPGA. That's it. So we need the bit file, because the bit file is the one used to push over JTAG into the MEGA65. Let's see what happens. For this to work, I forgot to mention, for this to work, you need to have exactly the correct drivers installed in your Windows. I did another video where I explained how these drivers need to be installed. So essentially, in the short form, you need the FTDI driver for the UART, the serial interface, and you need the default Windows driver for the JTAG interface. And I link to the other video at this place, and then you can take a look. Okay, we are again at the same place. We see again the run stop, but now we can read that the core has a very recent version. I think the one you saw before was the same because I already flashed it, but don't worry. And we again press run stop, press X, and are back in the MEGA65 prompt. Okay. What is this? This will give you the output. Yeah, we saw this output. Note the second line, selecting device. Okay, here we see what device is the serial device, because we need it in the next step. See, the serial device is COM11. It's not def something, that's Linux. It's COM11. So exactly this is our device string. And now we need to use M65 tool to start JTAG flash in C64 mode. Okay. And here's the line how to do that. M65, we give it a device, we give it the COM11 we saw, we say we tell it C64 mode and run and JTAG flash.prg. Okay, let's do this. M65 device COM11 -4 -R JTAG flash. Oh my god, I use different options. Yeah, that's the short options. They are still there. The one in the wiki are the long options. Why do I write the long options? If you write the long options and MEGA65 tool will not work, then you have the wrong version of MEGA65 tool. So write the long options and you exactly know if you have the correct version. But you also see it on the with the version string here, and that you don't get such a nice formatted logging, but some wild logging, I would say. Okay, now we push it. My return key did not work. Weird. Okay, what do we see now? Press return at the 3 JTAG prompts. Okay, that JTAG flash now shows us stuff. So first it shows us its version, and this is also new. And then it shows us the configuration block it just read from the JTAG. And this it will now put into things we can understand. It will read the version and it will show how fast the flash ship is. And at this place, if you are in some weird mode and it's not possible to really talk to the flash ship, then you will see red lines. So some stuff will be blank, some stuff will be red, and this is already JTAG flash detecting, okay, I'm at the wrong place, I will not run. So this is also one of the security measures, that it checks if it can actually run. And then we also see how much space we have on the flash and how many slots there are. And after this is the third return press, we will see what we have on our SD card. And we have the RC1 core. This one we now choose. Select the core file you put on your SD card. Okay. So it will now first show us, yes, this is a MEGA65 R3 core, and you have a MEGA65 R3, so it's safe to flash. Okay, fine. And then we flash it. First it loads it into the attic RAM. And now it flashes. Yeah, okay. You see, it just writes verifying. This is because I already flashed this core. So it does not update flash slots that are already correct. So it will read each sector and it will say, okay, the sector is already good, and it will skip over it. Because this is part of the another security mechanism. If it writes one sector, and then it will directly verify this one sector, and if the sector is not the same as the one that should have been written, it will try to rewrite it. and it will try so for 10 times. And after 10 times failing to write the sector, it will tell you, oh, I failed, I will stop here. Yeah, can only happen in some weird edge cases. I never had this with the standard way to do things. And I think we found a lot of the pitfalls already that can get you there. So what we just saw was the flash slot is already written with this core. Okay, should we rewrite it again? I don't know. We can do, I think. It would take some time to do so. So perhaps we skip it and go to the next step. Essentially, it will just take longer and it will write erase, writing, verifying. Erase, writing, verifying. We will see this with the next slot we flash. Okay, wait for flashing to complete. We did this. Turn off the MEGA65. Flip dip switch off. Okay. Turn off. That's my tool. Dip switch off. And then what should we do? Test core is now in slot 0. If you have a core in slot 1, you will need to delete it to get your MEGA65 to use slot 0 by default instead. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to put, okay, we need to change the tutorial here. Good that I used the tutorial. I seem not to have read it completely. So we start again into the MEGA65, and I did hold down no scroll. Also important rule here: first hold down no scroll, then power off the power on the MEGA65. Also, equally important, like the 8.3 uppercase file names. So this is our MEGA65 slots. You see I have two empty slots, and I have the factory default core, which is now the one we flashed, or we did not flash because it was already there. And we can press help to see the version, and we see it's the RC1 version. That's fine. Okay, and then we see I have a different core in slot 1, so we can flash this one. So I press now Control 1. Again, choose the RC1. And now we will see how the flashing will look. Actually, essentially this is the same flasher. The jtagflash.prg is built from the same source. It's just in a PRG format and only flashes slot 0 and does some additional output. So, and here you see the erasing, programming, verifying step. The verifying is very, very short. Perhaps we can catch it with some still frames, I don't know. And it will take longer, as you can see. Nearly there. So perhaps I look in the chat again. It will be nearly 2 years when I finally receive it next year. Yeah, Cruncher x86. Yes, it's really a long time, and yeah, we can't really do something about this because it's all the FPGAs and they are short everywhere. It's really bad, and it's in all industries. So I work with network equipment, and the last routers I ordered have a delivery time of over 1 year. It's really mad. Okay. And here we again see we have flashed RC1. Wonderful. So that's all. We just need to follow the steps, and I think they were pretty good to follow. So I think I will change this last step. But I think in the beginning there should, let me see, first flash slot 0 and then install the core into slot 1. So here it is written, and we already did this. Yeah, the file name is obviously the file name you used, and I should also add big letters here. Okay, with the core in slot 1. Hold Alt while powering on to access configuration. Okie dokie. I can do that. So what I also will do, I will put in a SD card into the external slot. Where's the external SD card slot? Ah, here it is. Okay. And now I power on with Alt pressed down, and I now will get this menu, and I will now use the FDISK tool. And it will probe my SD cards, and then it will ask me which SD card I want to erase. Because it's FDISK, it will erase the SD card. So I will remove the SD card again from the external slot and press R, because I now also can press R to rescan. And now you see I only have the internal card. The external card is gone. Okay, but I want the external card because my internal card took a long time to set up. So I rescan again, and I can repeat this as much as I want. And now I choose 1 for the external slot. And it will check. And now it will ask me if I'm really sure and I want to delete everything. And I should confirm by typing delete everything. Let's do that. Oh, I can't read it. Okay, it was correctly. Hi, Deft. So it formats the SD card. This means it makes 2 partitions. The second partition is always at the end, and it's always 2 GB in size. And this is the partition used to store the save slots. So if you in the freezer, if you freeze a system state, then it will use the upper 2 GB to save up to 2000 freeze slots, I think. And the front part of the disk is formatted as FAT and used to store disk images and stuff. So now it asks me, do I want to how's it called? To put files on the freshly formatted SD card, because the MEGA65 R3 core has some files inside, and it has a ROM in this case, and it has all the SD card essentials. And it asks me, it shows me in which slots I have cores that contain files I could put on the disk. And I can choose which I will use, or I can tell it, no, I don't want any files on my freshly formatted disk. I will put them there on my own. But in this case, I think we put something on it, and I just use the files from slot 1. And then it will copy them onto the disk. Populate. Thank you, Deft. Those English words. Okay, and it's blinking and telling us we can reboot. And it does not tell us to pull out the SD card because there's no ROM on it, because it has put a ROM on it. Okay, then we just do this. Off and on again. And it will start. Yeah, this is the weird bug I have with this SD card only. Only with this SD card. I have reformatted it. I don't know why it does it. It's really weird. Perhaps I can... Ah, there it is. It only took longer. Okay. Ah, perhaps it... Ah, I know what it is. There's no MEGA65 D81 on the SD card, and it tries to find it. That's the problem. Okay, that was easy. Because the next step tells us, does it tell us? Put release prep, it's this one here, put release prep stuff on your disk. Yeah. Putting release prep stuff on the disk. This is essentially, where's the release prep? I press on it. There are all the files, the SD card essentials, but also all the files that are on the disk on the SD card that is delivered with a MEGA65. So this is the screen you already saw with the music I had in the beginning, and where you can start all the demos and games which are on the disk. And there's I think 11 distribution on it, which is a basic kind of preprocessor, and C64 demos and some mod files to play, and yeah, other stuff. Solitaire. Okay, did I play that? I don't know. So we can, I could pull out the SD card and then we can just use the internal card, which has the files already on it, but I disabled the auto start, so we can run the menu, and then we get this again with the nice music. Okay, so, and essentially now you can start testing and yeah, try out stuff. There's everything that's on the release prep disk, or we can test other stuff. Let me think, what could we test? Oh, I have an idea. I have something. This one, Night Knight. Night Knight is a C64 game, and nice. And now look, it's a cartridge. And yeah, let's plug it in. First power off, then plug the cartridge in. Okay, and where is my joystick? There, joystick. And then let us see. Okay, I can use the big screen, but it will be distorted because it will be pulled to 16:9 by my hardware, by my video processing hardware. I can only correct this in the little window. So, but it's okay, I think. And we need music, right? Music. Okay, I'm pretty good at this game, I would say. Pretty good. Yeah, skeletons. Whoa. Okay. But you see, this cartridge works nicely with the MEGA65. Even not using the C64 core. I actually bought this game so we can test the the C64 core, because we also want to put cartridge support in the C64 core, and to test this we obviously need cartridges. Oh no, dead. It's not the best run I had. Stupid. Okay. Do you have wishes? Should I show something? Should I don't know. What's the time? Okay, 45 minutes. Then let's pull this out. Yeah, looking at the chat, I don't see any questions. That's good. Yeah, you could see it works with Windows. It needs the special drivers. I will link the video where I have my run at installing drivers on Windows. It's kind of funny. It's the same as me installing 7-zip on Windows, failing a lot. Yeah, but perhaps I should also mention that the macOS version has got an update. Discord user Kibo did volunteer to look at the macOS and also at the Windows auto detection stuff, and he already added the auto detection to macOS because there it was missing. I did not know how to pull all the USB information out of the macOS, and so I left it be, and he added it in, yeah, one day or something. It was really fast, and now it works. We still have some little problems because, yeah, you need to, oh, there's still the sound from the MEGA65. You need to, yeah, look at many edge cases, and again, it's drivers. So we have folks with different drivers, and different drivers generate different USB devices. The same as with Windows, essentially. And now he has to look how to detect them and what the right devices are, essentially. It's a, yeah, thing where we, yeah, essentially need lots of feedback. So if folks have problems, we need output of the MEGA65 tool with auto discover and debug, so we can see all what it detects. Let me add another device perhaps to show this. So if I add a second device, which is my Nexus board, and then we do the auto discover again, you will see it has now found 2 COM ports. And let me switch it on. Then we should see more, I guess. We don't see more. Okay. We have this error here. Entity not found. So this means essentially that the Nexus USB device has the wrong driver. So if I look here, I only see one diligent device, and here's this USB serial converter. This has the wrong drivers. This is the other diligent device. It's actually not very problematic to change this. You need to start Zadig, and there you need to pick this interface 0, which has not WinUSB on it. Here, this one has the FTDI driver, but we want the WinUSB driver. So we replace the driver. Replace it. Okay. You already see here's a second diligent USB device. And if this is done, it took a long time to get it to this place that I know where to look and what to do. Questions. Great explanation. Yeah, thank you, Marco. I wonder, could it work with Chameleon 64? What is Chameleon 64? I don't know this. Please explain. And Soy Star Rider, where switch to onboard from config does not work. I think you mean if you can't switch to onboarding and simply start from the internal card. Onboarding issue. Yeah, we can look at it. Okay, we look at the onboarding issue. One moment, I just want to show that now the entity will be found. Yeah, as you can see, now it does not bring up this error here, but it shows us 2 candidate USB devices, and one is the Nexus board with the 3631, and one is the MEGA65 R3 board with the 3636. And it thinks it can talk to both of them, and it actually can talk to both of them. Okay, I switch off the Nexus again, and we want to look at the onboarding issue. Yeah, let's use the big screen. Onboarding. Okay, I need to boot in configuration, so I hold down Alt and Start, and then I choose Configure. And now I tell it exit and reboot to onboarding. And then it should just do that. And it does. So I really don't know why it sometimes does not work. Perhaps it's the external card. We can try with the external card. One moment. Let me just put this in the mode I like. Enhanced, NTC, space, yes, keep, return. And then we will start with the external card. Where's the stupid external card? Ah, it's still in there. Okay, I did put in the external card. Configure. Exit, reboot to onboarding. Still works. So I don't know. I need a way to see why it does not work. Because for me it always works, and the way it works is essentially on the SD card in the second sector of the first partition. There's the configuration sector, and in this sector all the config knobs are saved. And what the option exit to onboarding does, it zeroes out the config sector essentially. And then when the system starts up, it will load the configuration sector, see, oh, configuration sector is not set, and will start onboarding. For this to work, perhaps this is the reason, you need to have onboard.m65 on your SD card. Perhaps you just don't have onboard M65 on the SD card, then no onboarding will start. Could be that. I don't know. Who did practice? With the game. Okay. Any more questions? Read the chat. Read the chat. What should I read? Did anyone tell me what Chameleon 64 is? Should I Google for Chameleon 64? I will Google for Chameleon 64. Where's Google? Google. Uplane. Chameleon 64. Turbo Chameleon 64. Ah, it's a special SD cartridge. A special cartridge. Depends. I would say we already had people putting in cartridges that did break stuff. And essentially these were cartridges which had notice on them. Don't put them into some system that can't handle them, because they may break stuff. I don't know what it was. Yeah, essentially this sounds like a module where you can add. What can you add here? Somebody is texting me. I can't read these texts if if you are trying to tell me stuff via Discord. Universal stack. Okay, there's a FPGA in the cartridge, and what will it do? Okay, this sounds very complicated. So I would say perhaps it will not work. Most probably it will not work. So we have some cartridges that work. You did see the Night cartridge did work, or the International Football cartridge will work. But for example, the Galaxian cartridge, which is also an old cartridge, won't work. And probably the Galaxian cartridge won't work because it uses illegal opcodes, and the core does not support illegal opcodes. So that could be a reason. Yeah, but what does the FPGA in the cartridge do? Does it just work as a multiplexer for so it's a chooser for cartridge files, so it can emulate any cartridge by you putting cartridge files on the ROM files on the SD. So if this just emulates other cartridges, it could work, but I see so many mysterious buttons and slots. So the module we have, the cartridge we had a problem with, or someone had a problem with, was a freezer cartridge. So freezer cartridges do weird stuff, and you probably should not try them in your MEGA65. Let us try first, because yeah, then we broke the board and not you. Yeah, I think that's a better idea. Okay, so be careful with cartridges. Don't try any cartridge if you are not sure, or yeah. The game cartridges or program cartridges generally should work, but any cartridge with special stuff on it, for example, we also have this MIDI cartridge, it probably won't work. And perhaps it even might break something if it does weird power stuff on the cartridge port. Yeah, so we don't know. And you should only use program cartridges. Is this good, Deft? Deft, any advice from you? Yeah, just games for now. Right, that's the best choice. Okay, 1 hour in, I think. That's it. We've seen a lot, and I need to drink something. And yeah, what am I showing? The Mega. So we could end how we started, with some nice music. Okay. It's closed source application for Office C64. Okay. It's obsolete. Okay. Yeah, we will see. Good. I wish you a nice evening, and we will talk again soon. Perhaps next week there will be the next release candidate. And yeah, have a nice evening, and bye.